This week on Training on Demand, we're going to talk about the 360-degree size up. Now, there's a lot of talk about this to begin with. Can it be performed every time? Should it be performed? Who does it? So on and so forth. So a couple of disclaimers right off the gate, and that is, yes, it should be done. Should be done by the first in officer or first arriving personnel. If you've got a thermal imager, obviously having a thermal imager doing the 360 just takes it up a notch for sure. But one of the things I wanted to talk about and just kind of show a very graphic difference is how far away from the building should you be walking as you're doing this 360? Does it matter? And I think it does matter. So here we are, maybe 15, 20 feet from the front door. That's what you can see is the front door. As you are approaching, you're better off, right? So, here we are. This is our view. This is our peripheral view. As you start looking around, I can almost see the entire face of this structure. Does it make a difference? Should it make a difference? Yeah, I think it does. I think it does. Get the perspective so you'll have a close view and a far view. What difference does it make? Again, stepping way back, what is it? Does it make a difference? These two, I don't think it's really as critical as it could be, but it's kind of the same view. You see that you get a much wider picture and a much greater view when you step back as far as you possibly can. So same thing. You're up close. That's what you got. You can't even see the roof line. You just get a little hint of the gable vent right there. Here, you're stepping back, you get a better view of the gable vent, and you can see what's going on. You get a wider view, you can actually see, foundation from edge to edge, from A to C. Second look, does it look better? Does it look different? You may not have, this is kind of a suburban house, ranch house in a suburban area. You got a lot of room. In the city, obviously, I'm not blind to the fact that you got fences. You may not be able to do this. In a downtown block, you may not be able to do this. You've got challenges. But my point is, when you have the opportunity to do it, I think you ought to do it. Look at how close we are in this situation because of the footprint and the lay of the land of the lot. You really don't get to see much when you're up too close. And obviously we're in haste. We're trying to make this 360 as quick as we can. You look at the difference and look at the perspective by just stepping back. Look at what the difference it makes. Same thing when we get out here. You look that there's a stone wall here. So in order to get a view, if you were doing a quick 360, you'd stay on top of the wall. There's no question. 90% of you would do that. What happens if you step off the wall? You're actually out into a street at this point. But what does it do for the view? What does it do to change what's going on? Same thing. Up close on the Delta side, out in the street from the Delta side. The DA corner, if you will. Look at the difference. Look at the difference. Look at you've got... You now can see the telephone wires in the street. You can see some other things. You see, both cases, you can see the electrical utilities to the house and so forth. So I think that understanding, I guess what I want to coach you is, if you've got the opportunity to step back a little bit, and I preach this from an incident command point, if you're not going to command from the car, be back farther than you want to be. I think it makes a lot of difference. When you're doing a 360 or whether you're talking about, fixed command, I think these rules apply. This is one that makes people crazy. If I did that, I'd be across the street. Yep, that's where I think I want you. That's where I think I want you, is farther back than you want to be, unless you're working out of the vehicle. If you got a fixed command point, that makes sense. You know what? It's simple. Farther back gives you a greater field of view. Greater field of view gives you more data. More data makes you a little smarter, makes for better decision making on the fire ground. So think about that. When you're doing the 360, don't be right up close to the building. be back a little farther than you want to be. And if you assume a fixed command post, be back farther than you want to be as well. Any questions, any feedback? If I said something you liked, let me know. If I said something you didn't like, let me know. Again, just a quick little segment to try to help you make some decisions from a command standpoint. A lot to be said about the 360. Did anybody tell you how to do a 360? Did anybody show you how? You circle in the building. What are you doing? We might revisit this again and do more work on this same topic. Thanks for being with us. Hopefully you look forward and you join us next week for another Training on Demand segment.